Welcome to the Gold Mines podcast and another exciting episode. I'm your host, Debra Lightfritz. Today, we will take a deep dive into the world of staffing firms, bringing you valuable insights, expert opinions, and information you need to succeed in the ever-evolving industry of the staffing world. Now, staffing firms, well, my opinion, they're the backbone of today's job market, connecting businesses with talent that they need and helping job seekers find their perfect fit and taking the heavy burden that every client has in today's world with the daunting task of identifying a unique set of requirements, preferences, and expectations. And in this dynamic landscape, it can sometimes feel like you're navigating a passage of secret chambers, trying to decipher what clients and candidates truly want. But fear not, we're here to shed some light on this topic today. We're going to unravel the mystery and explore the common thread that ties all staffing firm clients together. So whether you're a seasoned staffing employee, a veteran of the industry, or just dropping by to tip your toes in the water and enjoy this episode. So grab a pen, take some notes, and get ready to dive into the world of staffing. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and brace yourselves for the introduction of a legend. So the legendary man that even his breakfast cereal has his own fan club, and that's Mr. Pete Pappas. So, Pete, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Deborah.
And
Nice
give us a little bit of bio about you, Pete.
Well, I have been fortunate enough to spend the most of my working career in the staffing business. I started in Houston, Texas as a selling branch manager. After 4 years, was able to mirror my boss's branches and travel to 17 branches west of the Mississippi to assure that the sales effort was consistent among all of those. But it did something interesting for me too, because it gave me a good look inside those 17 branches, and I was able to help and diagnose, in some cases, help other branch managers figure out where they needed to jumpstart, where they needed to fine tune in order to be able to provide a level of service, not just to get new clients, but also to keep existing clients. So that was fun. Then I transferred back to Washington, D.C. for 2 years, was promoted to regional manager position. My region was from Seattle to Phoenix, based out of L.A.
Whoa.
Nice size. That company was sold to a British firm. They were kind of stripping away all the uniquenesses of the things that I preferred in taking something small and growing it big. 6 months later, they bought Manpower Services. Manpower is certainly a fine company, but not for me. And I started paying attention to opportunities and ended up back on the East Coast where I grew up, in Atlanta. And 10 years ago, well, 14 years ago now, I decided to have my own company and wanted to build a company on honesty and integrity and maturity and respect, and ended up 4 years ago selling it to the Reserves Network because I wanted to find a kindred spirit where my employees wouldn't have any kind of culture shock by transitioning from my company to a new company. And that's where we found a home with the Reserves Network.
And we got married, and the rest is history.
That's right.
So now you guys see why I call Pete one of my favorite people already, just a few seconds in, and he's awesome. So, Pete, today, thank you for introducing yourself, by the way. But Pete, today, we're going to unravel some specific requirements that a client may ask of their staffing firm partner and the basic must-haves that all users of staffing firms expect. So even though every client has specific requirements of their staffing firm, what are the basic must-haves with all this legendary experience that you have? Let's talk about it, Pete.
You know, Deb, that's really a good question because, I mean, let's face it, and there's 20,000 staffing companies across the United States.
Yeah.
And as an industry, we haven't had a great rating from our users of staffing as an industry. I think the highest rating I ever saw has been about a C-, which means there's room for improvement, but it also means there's a lot of mediocrity. And to me, one of the best ways that we can and have raised the level of service is understanding clients' needs and the impact that we can have in operations on those client needs. And the first understanding is that, as you mentioned, there's specific things that every client needs, and it's usually what they're not getting. So, but we need to understand that every user of staffing has 4 specific needs that we can automatically understand is a given. One of them, the first is they want somebody qualified. Sounds simple, but it's a need.
Right.
The second thing is they want that qualified person to show up each and every day. Again, sounds simple, but not necessarily always met. Third thing is they want that person to fit in with their environment. They want us to know them well enough to know what type of person fits well in, from mood, from if we send somebody with all the skills, but they're working with a supervisor who may be a little gruff and they can't handle a gruff supervisor, it's not going to work out even though they have the skills.
Right.
And then the fourth thing that everybody's looking for is they want that person to stay for the duration of the assignment. If it's a 2-week assignment or 2-month assignment, they don't want to keep getting a different person in and out and having to retrain that person, because in reality, that takes their time and it costs them additional money.
More money than anything, really, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pete, let's talk about what's the impact in a relationship we have with our client if these 4 needs aren't met?
Deb, that's probably the shortest answer I'll give you. That's about probably that's probably about how long we'd have that client. If we can't meet those 4 needs, there's no point in us being in business.
Right. So, Pete, what can operations of a staffing firm do to see that these 4 basic needs are met?
Here's where the understanding and our understanding in operations can really make a difference in not just the life of our applicant, but also the life of our client. If we can determine certainly the qualifications and the understanding of us by somebody that walks in our door, that fills out our paperwork, either online or in person.
Right.
We're going to have an opportunity to make a first impression on that particular person when they walk through the door. That impression can be good, it can be neutral, or it can be bad. And here's where we can outshine the competition, because unfortunately, the C- as an industry that we've earned is properly given to us because the majority of staffing companies will herd people in like cattle and dispatch them like taxi cabs. And that's what
that big. I love that.
That's where we can make a difference, Deborah.
Yeah.
We can make a difference in how we treat that person that walks on our door. And a lot of our branches, we're doing just that, and we're doing it very effectively. Introducing ourselves, making them feel comfortable, providing them with an environment. We have to remember that the people that are walking in our doors are not independently wealthy, just looking for something to do. they may not come in with their best foot forward. They probably are nervous.
Yeah.
How are they going to pay their rent? How are they going to feed their kids? Where are they going to get the money to put gas in their car to even get to work?
Right.
So if we have an understanding, if we have that understanding, we can then go that extra effort to make them feel comfortable. We're comfortable coming into our offices because we come in every day. We work together. We all know each other. But when somebody else walks into our office, they don't know us. So the first way that we in operations can have a positive effect on that person is putting them at ease.
Right.
And how we can do that certainly is a character that we look for when we're recruiting people, because they have to have a genuine interest. In operations, you have to have a genuine interest in people and being able to get to the heart of that particular person, understanding their qualifications, and then understanding your client's needs of what your client's looking for to make sure that we get somebody that fits in with their environment from a personality standpoint, and then getting them to stay for the duration of the assignment. That starts with, Deb,
Relationship building.
Relationship building and how we
Yes.
even offer them the job.
Yeah.
If I call you up today, Deborah, and you're one of my applicants, one of my employees that I've decided to hire,
Right.
call you up and I say, Deborah, do you want to go to work today? You know, Deborah, even with all of your zest and gusto, there may be days that if I'm calling you at 7 o'clock because I got a client call and they need somebody as soon as possible, and you're not prepared to go into work yet. You called me the day before. I didn't have anything for you, but now I'm calling you because I've got something for you. And I ask you, do you want to go to work today?
Yeah.
That's the silliest question in the world I can ask, because you came in looking for work.
Right.
So my job is to motivate you to go to work. So I'm not going to say, do you want to go to work today? I'm going to say, Deborah, I've got a great assignment for you. Do you have your pen and paper ready? Let me tell you a little bit about where I'm going to be able to send you. Here's the company. Here's how to get there, of course. Here's what I'm going to be able to pay you. Here's what you need to do. And here's how long they need you for. And Deborah, I'm choosing you because this is a new client and we really need to make this client look good, because there's a lot of opportunity there for us, which again creates a lot of opportunity for you and our other employees. And by getting them motivated, can you imagine if you call up somebody and you say, do you want to go to work today? And they really don't feel like going to work, but they go ahead and accept the job and they take their time getting ready. They take their time to get there. They're not going to be real impressive when they get to the client's location. And they're not, and that first impression that the client's going to have them is not going to be positive either. Now,
it's all in the delivery, Pete, that
all the delivery.
Yeah.
Now, how can we increase the likelihood that they stay for the duration of the assignment? Well, one is by motivating them in the way I just said, but the second is by having an understanding and a communication with them. Deborah, I want to help you find just that right job that you're looking for. I may not hit the mark every time I send an employee to you, or every time I send you out to an employer.
Right.
But what I want you to do is if you, and you don't have to take every job I send you to, but if you do take it, I do want you to commit to, at least if it's not the right one for you, call me. Don't go to somewhere else, have to fill out somebody else's application process. You've done that here. And I want to be the person that helps you find that right job. But call me and let me know and give me an opportunity so that the client's not without somebody. Give me an opportunity to replace you and find another opportunity for you. Have that dialogue, have that communication. Again, not everybody's going to adhere to that, but if we're not doing it now and we're having a lot of no-shows, which is traditional among the staffing service to begin with right now, there's people ghosting a lot of employers.
Yeah.
All we're doing is increasing the likelihood that maybe, just maybe, they'll have that respect for us and have that relationship built with us, that they won't disappoint us and won't disappoint our client, and will give us that opportunity to replace them before the client gives us a call saying, hey, what happened to Deborah? She left for lunch and never came back.
Right, right. It's communicating, understanding, building relationships on both sides, not just the talent / candidate, but knowing your client and uncovering everything. So, Pete, if we cover all these bases and completely prepare our talent for the positions and we're sending them on, can we guarantee that every one of our placements will work out?
I wish. I'm holding a Bic pen in my hand. I think Bic can guarantee that this pen's going to write until it runs out of ink.
Right.
Now, the double-edged sword that we have is that this pen has no emotion. It's going to stay right where it's put. And we're dealing with people, we're dealing with human beings, and they've got lives outside of work, and those lives are going to influence them tremendously. So no, of course we can't guarantee, and we shouldn't be selling a guarantee but all we're doing by taking those extra steps is increasing the likelihood that we're going to be able to provide our clients with somebody who's going to be qualified, who's going to be showing up on time, that's going to stay for the duration of the assignment and fit in with their environment. If we can meet those 4 needs every time, then it will at least give us an opportunity to be able to then have the confidence of looking our prospects and our clients in the eye and say, what else can we be working on for you today? And they'll feel comfortable giving us another opportunity.
Okay, so and the last question I have for you. So what are the benefits of understanding our clients' needs by using that type of an approach?
Well, I think improved customer satisfaction would be the main thing. But let me tell you something else that it does for us. It arms our salespeople with something different to say, Deb.
Okay.
Right now, the industry is selling, buy from us. We're really great people. We'll take care of you. We have the best people. And prospects have heard that for so long. But what they haven't heard is that we have an understanding of the areas that are specific needs to them. And the sales process that our salespeople are going through today are identifying what they're not getting now and addressing what we do at TRN to provide them with what they're not getting at their current service. So we're arming them with things to be able to say that are different from what every other salesperson is saying to our prospects, to our customers. And that gives us an edge right there because we look like we know a lot more about what we're doing, and we look like we're out to satisfy our clients' needs.
100%, Pete. Well, I think you and I could go on here for about 3 more sessions. And for those of you that don't know Pete, this is why he's one of my favorite people. Him and I just banter all over the place, and we have a great rapport with each other. So, Pete, to end today's podcast, I usually do that with a Deborah-ism. I call it like a little golden nugget. So in my opinion, building and maintaining a healthy relationship, whether it's personal or professional, requires effort, empathy, and effective communication, which is the things that you're talking about. So trust is the bedrock of all relationships. Match your words with your actions, right? It's that simple. So thank you, Pete, for your words of wisdom today. And maybe we'll have a part 2 of this. You can find our podcast on the YouTube channel under the Reserves Network staffing firm, Gold Mines Podcast. Please subscribe, like, and follow us. And we love comments. It helps our channel. Thanks so much for your time today, Pete.
Thanks for letting me participate, Deborah.